your office. We're in
It's
your office
welcome.
now.
As they say in Hawaii, aloha.
Aloha, Bob.
Aloha, coming from ha, meaning the breath. So it's a welcome of body, mind, spirit to welcome you here, Lilou.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us in your space. This is beautiful.
Well, we tried to create a sacred space to work in, full of light, the white floors, the white walls, the simplicity of it, the touch of contemporary to an ancient chest from Bali. I'm sorry, India, actually Nepal to be exact, on the border of Tibet. And so the concept is to give the studio a sense of light. Santa Fe was famous for this. It's the whole northern New Mexico is a place of our First Nation people, pottery, artists, painters, movie people, authors. It's just full of creative energy.
And you have a beautiful Z here.
Yes, that
Z is
is
Zimmer.
I had to remember that. It means room, and as I said in German, but the idea was it's about just a symbol. It's almost the alpha and the omega to me, and that's why we used it. So it's the beginning and the end and the beginning. So
Infinity.
infinity, exactly. This is a wonderful project we did for in Telluride up at the Peaks Hotel, a penthouse, using very simple materials, all natural materials, natural fabrics, with fantastic views of the mountains, of the beauty of Telluride. So
why was it special?
I think for a couple of reasons. It was actually only a single floor with compressed ceilings, and the owner was the chairman of Dollar General, a wonderful gentleman, Cal Turner. And what was special about it was the space that got created with light, 18-foot ceilings, the materials used, all natural, in a sense kind of contemporary, tribal, picking up the Native American influence of Telluride, which was there. And yet the beauty, the design was the beauty outside. And again, all the natural materials, the honed stone. We put a skylight over the bath area, and just the architecture was called Less is More. And besides, it was a wonderful client to work with. So now we're going into our conference room, and as an example of some of the projects we've worked on, and really going back to something that I said earlier.
Oh yeah, the wheel.
And the medicine wheel, as I call it. And what this is about, and this could be for any company, any walk in life, any personal issue, but the idea is to look at all of the parts to the whole when you make a decision. Especially business people, if they really looked at what is the impact of, yes, it's got to work economically, but what's the impact on the environment? Is it ethic-based? Is it sustainable? Is it culturally aware? Does it exceed, its basis is wisdom. You design the organization around it, the communication plan, the feasibility. So, and a very important element here is something we term triple bottom line. This is for profit. But the triple bottom line means that it's a for-profit, but it's environmentally sensitive and culturally sensitive. An example, in Papillon, this resort and wellness center that we're both co-developing with Mr. Michael Waters and creating, has a nonprofit foundation as a part of it, so that part of our profits go back to the environment, children, or if the community, for instance, we're doing something called In Spiritu Destinations with our Group 8, and we'll have scholarships for people that cannot afford the integrative wellness, so that we're constantly looking at ways that we can create healthy businesses that are mindful. So
that are win
You
for
got it.
everybody.
So this, you could put your life in this. And then, so when I decide something, including jumping off a cliff to create something that, oh my God, did I do that? As we said earlier.
Yeah.
And the kinds of things that are coming out of what's going on at Papillon.
All this came to you in '87, huh?
The start,
This is
yes,
what you talked
this
about.
is what I talked about. It took a lot of years. I was 6'5" when I started. And people thought, what is Bob talking about? But the idea is, like we're doing at Papillon, is a Institute of Integrative Wisdom, which is wisdom thinking, and it's how do we create governmental policies, social awareness, whole systems thinking, whole food systems, art, music, financial practices, social responsibility, health, ecological awareness. So we'll have global speakers come in to share their wisdom to our guests, and also put this out on the internet with programming, with our media, enriching media division. So this was kind of the process. Now, how does this equate? This outline I want to give you is actually an outline of an island off Great Exuma in the Bahamas. And so when we started the process of the design charrette with John Suarez of SBD and the Fab Studio out of Dallas and the owner Michael Waters and our team got together. And one of the things we looked at in the design first was we read where the vortex or the electromagnetic power points were. And we also, if you look at the Hubble craft, we wanted to align this with, we'll call the stars in a sense, but the rotation of many of the stars coming together is really the rotation of the male and female energy. The spiral and the spiral going out to the left, counterclockwise, the male. So what we looked at by these lines, by the way, were lines that align with some of the major power points. And what was amazing that we found on this island and where we've located the resort is these line up with the pyramids of Giza and Teotihuacan in Mexico City, which is the sun pyramid. And so what it's really telling us is the Earth is alive and has electromagnetic vortexes. So that's what we tied in on. And so this is where the main lodge will be, which is here. The Healing Center, the Wellness Center, which is there. The Wisdom Institute. And then where we put
What's the Wisdom Institute?
This will be the Integrative Wisdom Institute that is basically a small conference center where we'll have global leaders come in for workshops to share with our guests and other people. So when we
What
look
a wonderful
at these,
idea.
we're water harvesting. If you notice these are the designs of the treatment, the body treatment. We're using the spiral, which is the Nautilus, using biomimicry. What nature tells us is form.
Tell us about biomimicry. How do you define that? Because we're talking more and more about it now.
Here's an example of it, actually. If we look at the design of nature, especially on the shells and the Nautilus especially, well, this is a geometric and a geomancy line that appears in nature. And so what we're doing is, biomimicry means we're really mimicking the natural system. So what does that mean? So we take this beautiful place, and an example of this biomimicry would be, this is on one of the major PowerPoints. This is the landscape design. This is a meditative place. We're using this is the feminine, the energy of the Nautilus and the spiral, which you see in many living things. And so we're using that as biomimicry. And this is an observation place for yoga and what have you. The other part, for instance, this is the pool, which we call the water sanctuary.
Oh, this feels good already, just looking at it.
And so you'll see the spiral, and there are leaves here, or energy. So we're not just creating a resort pool, it's a container of energy for people to remember, God, doesn't this salt water feel good? It's going to be a saltwater pool. And so this geometry that John Suarez and Song and Brian Knopf, who is our Director of Development, and Michael Waters, we all got together and said, how can we create sustainable function? So we're creating our own organic gardens. Tropical fruits will be grown here because it's a bit arid tropical island. And so even the form of this that you see here is using biomimicry to create this very special place of gardens. We're catching every drop of rain by this.
But how can this be accessible to everybody? Because I guess the people going to those resorts are people that have money.
Yes and no. One of the things is that Michael Waters and we're establishing is a scholarship that are part of our nonprofit. What's wonderful about this island is there's a NOAA station and a marine institute called the Perry Marine Institute, PIMS. So we're working with them to create a foundation that our guests and we would contribute to this. And so one of the things will be going into the school children of the Bahamas to show them the living sea and how we must be stewards of it. And then we'll have scholarships for the Bahamians that they can go through our wellness center because they don't have the ability to afford it. So that the community is coming together. Rather than pushing community out, we're interconnecting community with the development. And that's part of the sustainability model.
And that's true abundance.
Yeah. And like the energy farm, again, the pattern of the banana leaf and the tropical leaf. We'll have waste treatment facilities that are bioremediation, using plant material to purify and polish the water. We're having wind and solar here, so we'll be generating our own power. And you can see that everywhere, and what we're doing is building containers that bring in, the earth. And so we're creating something that's
Why papillon?
Papillon, very good question.
Because that's a butterfly in French.
It means the butterfly, and what does it mean? It's about transformation. How can a caterpillar that comes into this world as a living thing metamorphose itself to become the beauty of the butterfly? And isn't that what we as humans really are doing? We came in with a lot of preconceived notion. In our journey we have a choice. And like the butterfly who, from an internal mechanism, creates something of beauty called the butterfly. And what a perfect name for a place that regenerates our human body and also the earth.